Welcome to Elite Podcasts with your host, Mighty RX.
Welcome to Season 3 of the SFL Podcast, where this time around, we're going to hit up the ownership groups of these new expansion teams, find out how they even got the expansion teams to begin with, how they got involved in the league, how they catch wind of the SFL, and more. Can't wait to hear the stories about the ups and downs and trepidations about these first seasons that you just experienced. So I hope you enjoy.
Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the Elite Podcast. And tonight, ahora, I got an elite company with me, fresh off their first playoff bid as an inaugural franchise, your Minnesota Legends. You know, it's quite fitting, you know, like winning Legends, beautiful. Here tonight we have co-owner BJ Loveless and co-owner Axel Raven, who hold it down, who are the top dogs in Legend Land. What you got for the people at home, man?
BJ Loveless, Chicago, Illinois. I've went to school in Minnesota, up in Winona, Minnesota. That's my connection to Minnesota, if you didn't know. Season 20, baby. Get ready. We're ramping up. Hey.
So, and Axel, if you'd like to just introduce yourself.
Sure. Axel Raven, born in Wisconsin, but moved as a young 20-year-old into the Twin Cities, Minneapolis area, and lived here ever since, working and things in a suburb of Minneapolis area. So yeah, looking forward. We want to prove that season 19 was not a fluke. Yeah.
Okay, hey, that's always good because once the kickoff happens for next season, everyone's 0-0. So
exactly.
You know, sometimes that's forgotten. I just have to put that out there. Sometimes people forget, like yeah, you saw what we did last season. Yeah, but you ain't win a game this season, play it, so it don't matter. Axel, since I have your ear and you have the floor, if you'd like to kind of let the people know, you know, which was your introduction to the SFL, what appealed to you, and when did you officially make the leap?
Sure. So I made the leap pretty quickly after I first saw my first game. I think it was season 15, so it was early February of 2021. So we're coming up on 2 years since I first saw it. It was a game between Mexico City and DC Dragons. I was like, wait, Mexico City has a team. These aren't real people. Let me go, dig into this. I was fascinated with like the XFL for a while, like the spin-off and like the indoor football league and those things, because I sort of like the non-traditional football kind of stuff. And went online, looked it up, went to the website, and like, this is really cool. Oh, I had just joined Discord a few months earlier, so that I already had that, so I could jump into the server pretty easily. Signed up for a month-to-month, thinking, hey, maybe I'm just out for $5 if I don't like it for a month, right? I can just bounce. But I jumped in February, and then progressed February, March, and then the minor league season 3 started in April of that season or that year, and loved it. Made some really good friends in Tacoma, and just started really digging it. And had a lot of fun. Loved the community. Came for the football, stayed for the community kind of thing. So yeah.
That's cool. We'll touch about how your draft and how you got to where the meandering way. Now, B, you've been around almost as long as I have, right? So letting people know, like, when did you get into the league? When did you catch wind of the league? When did you get in? And if you want to get into how you meandered your way, at least to Arizona, and then we'll touch on how you got to Arizona to Minnesota later.
I can give it a ballpark. I think it was the season 10, right before the season 10 championship, I believe. And I waltzed in, and I was like, and I think Cam was doing an award show. I think that's the first event I saw.
Okay.
Which was CC's MVP year, I believe.
That was season 10.
And so, and I was like, holy crap, they put a lot of production into this. And I'm big into gaming and, build team building and stuff like that. So I was like, it's a niche of mine, and I was looking for something more along the football realm and getting into something like this. So as I dropped into Discord, and back then the chat rank was king. Those were the days. It was fairly along the rookie process, so I came in and kind of hit the ground running, trying to play catch up. So the biggest mistake I think I made was not engaging with enough owners and GMs at that point, and the GM role was somewhat new. I think Ryan Krapinski was the original general manager, but I think I'd only reached out to like 3 teams, and then they realized that, holy crap, come the draft, I'm falling down the board, and I got top 15 credentials or whatever you say, and then thanks to Kentez Johnson, I get drafted to Houston. We had went through the whole the rookie, just the chat phase, and me and Kentez got close, and when he got drafted by Houston, he was like, hey, y'all better go get BJ Loveless. He's really active and yada yada yada, and that's what became of that. 3 seasons with Damon in Houston. Me and Eddie got really close. We come from the same background, as he always says, and all that. And eventually, after 3 seasons, Eddie buys the Oklahoma City Renegade. And I was like, Houston is in a good spot right now. Can I go help my boy build something from the ground? And so that's where the transition to Arizona went.
Okay.
Great years in Houston. Love Damon. Love everything he's done over the years, and his eventual rebrand of Houston, and they're moving on up the list again. And I still hurt from that semifinal game against you guys. It's in like, what is that, season 13? No, season 11.
Is that 11? 11 or 12?
Yeah,
1 and 2.
It was 11. Yeah, so that sucked. But that made me hungrier to be in the league. Like, all right, we got something here. Let's try it again. And my final season in Houston was, we beat you guys the last game of the season to make it in the playoffs at 5-7. Things come tenfold. So moving forward to Arizona, did the thing with Eddie, got the ground floor in Arizona, and I had gotten to the original bid with Jack Brown with Detroit to try to get that up and running. We fell short, so I was kind of in the background at Arizona at that point, and I moved forward to Queen City because I wanted another opportunity, another challenge to put me on the forefront, and become a face of the franchise and things of that nature, and get them up and running. Expansion came along a lot faster than I thought it would have, and I applied again. We had things going in Queen City, but the wheels started to fall off a little bit. And I think my eventual winning the bid to get Minnesota was the start to the wheels falling off and them having to be in the current situation that they are now. But I could be wrong. But here we are with the legend.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, there's 2 things you brought up. Firstly, let me get this out of the way first. The Houston rebrand to the the headhunters. I don't know about y'all. I like it. Like it's apropos. It's nice. And secondarily, Axel might be able to touch more upon this because you have the ear of the minor leaguers. Is that talking to the guys that draft people kind of important. This little, right? Like, and great. I'm not saying the brown nose. That is not what I'm saying at all. But at least reach out so the people that make the decisions know who you are, right? Because unlike the NCAA to the NFL, production doesn't play as much a factor as personality and character does.
Absolutely,
right? Because you think about the makeup of your locker room, and it might be nice and entertaining to watch, your Terrell Owens of the world and divas, do their thing. I'm sorry, y'all are bigwigs now. Y'all know I don't want drama in my locker room. Who needs that, right? I
Right.
get off work and then I got a scout and then I got a game plan and then I got to go drama. I'm
You gotta go break
good.
up fights. Yeah.
I'm good. You could keep all of that. I'm
And-
good. So yeah, so definitely rookies and hopeful major leaguers. Yeah, definitely reach out to ownerships across the league to let them know that hey, I see you have a vacancy here. I'm very much interested to be part of your franchise because I've heard good things, whatnot, and that would be the best way to go about putting your foot forward there. So, but enough about them because this is about y'all, right? So, so now Axel, you're in the minors as a player. Your linebacker is wrecking shop all over the place. And then Sioux, you know what I'm saying? And then Sioux Falls says, "Come on, Axel, be part of our squad." And Axel's excited. And I remember because I tapped Axel on the shoulder. I see you. You do quite some nice things with graphics. You want to hook your boy up with a little something. So take it from there, Axel. How did you go about, getting yourself prepared to link up with B?
Sure. So ultimately, I knowing that the draft was going to be coming, week one, I was hitting the owners DMs, and I was trying to be active and that kind of thing because I wanted to be able to be the sort of the master of my own destiny, or be someone showing off my abilities, or I really enjoy like giving back to things, like doing stuff. It's a way to scratch an itch that professionally I've done graphic design since 2001, and so now I'm in the management part and I don't do the design as much, so it's nice to get back to the creative side. So it's just another outlet for me to do that. Teamed up with Leon Thunderman to do some interviewing and writing. We had a little rookie highlight text stuff that we had, and through that we partnered up with Slim Shady and got involved with Mike All, so again, great connections to have. And then getting the people's voice out there, so again, building more community in the minor league. But yeah, early on in the season, again, being from Minnesota, my local team at that time was Sioux Falls, being they're maybe 2.5 hours away, maybe 3 hours. So I considered them my hometown team. I'm like, I like yellow's my favorite color. I thought they look cool. And things. I didn't do much research because again, you don't know what you don't know, about like, what is the team like? What is the locker room? I assumed it just was going to be like what it was everywhere else, right? Why not? And things, and again, nothing to downfall, but I initially reached out to AJ saying I'm interested in AJ Levy and interested in playing, let's start building a little relationship. They're like, yeah, we got you, third round pick, or first pick, third pick overall.
Yes, round, I remember because I had you circle on my board, and I was like, if Axel drops to us, because I believe you were part of season 15. You were part of season 15.
Right before, or just after season, maybe it was season 6.
Yeah, you were 15.
I played 17, 18, 19, so it would have been off season after season 16.
You're after 6. No. How do we wind up? Because we were close to picking you.
I was in the same. Stephen Black was in my draft as well. So you guys you picked him
because I had you circle with a bullet. And I'm like, man, if Axel drops to us, boy, it's over. It was Storm.
You and Mike All at Jacksonville too were like, AJ says that they're going to take me with their first pick. If by chance they don't and I'm available, I'm all yours, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I want to give anybody that was interested, due diligence kind of thing, if they're willing to go out there. So join Sioux Falls and, really enjoyed, stepped into the locker room, wanted to chat with people. There were a couple people that were there and joined me. Biff Markham was a undrafted free agent after that came like week 2. Fairly talkative guy, still talking about, see him in the game chats all the time for Sioux Falls and things. Great guy. Wonderful that he's enjoying himself. It was not a bad place to be, and again, like contrary to what, rumors they say, they don't say don't go out and talk. They're just, whenever you do, represent the team well. Know that you're representing the team that you're part of, and things. And so try to do that as well. And support the team in the game day chats and things, and was doing some graphic stuff for them, so that I'd put together like some helmet stickers to recognize, players of the week kind of thing for the team. Started doing some scouting in week 3 and 4, so learned a little bit how to do that. and was able to submit and send that up the chain. And was not a bad place. And tried to make do with the environment that I was in. And we had a tough year that year. We went 3-9. I think at the end of it, but we had a 9-game losing streak. So it was a little tough to go through. And it was during that time that I like, hey, I want to help. I have time. I'm interested. I want to, how can I help beyond scouting? I had been doing some scouting. I was just learning. So at the time, doing a game for me was like a 3 or 4 hour commitment that was taking me away from other things. But I also was not getting any feedback from whether that's AJ or Jason. How is this being used? Is it helpful? And is what I'm giving you anything? I would be like, here it is, and thanks. And then they would go and take it. I didn't know how it was being used, and we were losing games. So I'm like, what else can I do? I've idle hands, right? So give me something I can. I had the emulator, so I could pull up that and things. So was willing to do things, but was just not given the chance. And that's their prerogative, and I have no problem with that. I respect Jason and AJ and that kind of thing. That's how they want to run things. That's perfectly fine. They have that option. So I just took that option as going to find someone else. So I know I'd talked with you. I talked with Mike all down in Jacksonville again, and then it was fun. Like, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know exactly the right spot. I just felt that I still had a lot to learn. I didn't really, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I wanted to, get my hands wet or dirty and messy and things. So I was talking to Leon Thunderman, realized that they were looking and would be interested in me as well. So they didn't know I was, FA at the time, and shared, hey, what if I did come over? So went over there. As an assistant OC, started off, but joining working really closely with Liam Hammer. He's like, yep, you can do exactly what I need to do, or what the OC is. So he just stayed head coach, and I jumped into the OCing season, or week 3 of season 18. And collaborated really well with Liam. He working under Shan and Charles Doherty and a variety of other players, Gerald and things. So he had learned a lot of things from them that I was able to then distill down or receive from him via them as well. So it's sort of like being coached by many of the greats that just have this one conduit. And it's tough. We had a power back, which is different than a finesse back, and I didn't know some of the
very
things,
different,
how to get them running. Didn't really have much success on the ground, so we leaned into the air and helped put together progression plans for them, and fill in the gaps and just sort of learning all the aspects. Come the draft time, I was hitting up some things, doing a little like helping the GM kind of side of things and stuff, just trying to and doing DOC stuff as well. So sort of all hands everywhere. So got really messy and busy and dirty there, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Learned a lot. And then I think it was end of January, early February, I was like, I want I hear mention, like, there was rumors of expansion coming up. I'm like, well, I'm just going to start making like a Word document with things that I think people, like coaches, because I knew they had a application and there was a vote. So I'm like, I'm just going to start filling out things that I think people might want to know. Like, what kind of culture do I want to have? What's some of the purpose or things that I might want to see on a team, and play with some branding in the game and outside of the game and stuff. So, I was playing with that. Started off with like, Minnesota Freeze. It had like the gargoyle in game, and then it had bright greens like what Seattle has, and then some blues that are more your style blue, and things. And so it was the Minnesota Freeze. I had some things written up, had a graphics package for it and things, and uniform. Shared it with Bristelli as a first pass. Like, hey, you've probably seen a lot of these. What are your and stuff? So so he was great, giving me some feedback. Like, yeah, the branding is too close to a few other teams. Yellow and blue was LA, and so I'm like, oh, I didn't even really think about that. So now I'm like, okay, what are some color combinations? So I did something with like brown and red, because nobody was using brown. Now Canton has like the tans and stuff, and Fort Worth, I guess, was using some tans and stuff. But anyways, it evolved into Minnesota Sasquatches and other things. one of the cool thing was Optimus Klein was, so I went to Liam and Optimus and said, yeah, I'm interested in submitting for expansion.
Yeah.
Just so you know, do you have any advice? They're like, great, first advice, go talk to owners, get yourself in front of them, just like you would for the draft. So I was sharing some of my initial stuff and ideas with like TJ over in Baltimore. Reached out to like Gerald, who was really helpful in putting together like what's something that differentiates you from other teams, or what's a focus that you really care about that someone can connect with their heart with, that it's not just a game, that it's something beyond that. Like coming from SD, they have all their generic players named after fighter pilots that have died in previous wars or things, right? That kind of like what's a hook, right? So I was trying to think a little bit about that. And one of the biggest piece of advice that TJ gave me was like, so you're new, like you've been here at the time just over a year. That could not be a positive seed, for old guard people coming in wanting someone that has some more stability, right? So he's like, I suggest you reach out and find a partner. And he named BJ as having somebody that had gone through it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just connect with BJ. So a day or two later, I think I'm like, hey BJ, how are things going? Because we had a little back and forth or connections back when he was originally linebacking for Arizona and other things. So it was just sort of a role model to me. And so I had some previous conversations, but curious on what your thoughts are about like expansion. I heard you did it before. We sort of started, sharing things, and he had some great questions that I was able to answer, and it sounded like they hit the mark on him, that we found a lot of synergy in sort of where like our passion, where we want to see a team, the type of things that go into that. And then funny enough, he shares like, I have a background from Minnesota too. And in fact, I'll let BJ share a little bit more, but he sends me like is it your nephew that is in school in this exact same smaller suburb town that I live in, so I could go watch the high school football game and see BJ's nephew out there on the field. So it's funny how close things can be, and it seems kismet that it sort of worked out. So
that's what's up. Now, and everything you just said, I caught something, and now I'm asking, if you love bright yellow, where's the bright yellow?
Just didn't work. It didn't work.
It may be coming.
Okay. That's all I know. I know if you like, because listen, I love the bright blue, like the electric blue. It pops. It catches your attention, right? And when you see it on field, you have no choice but to do a double take. Now, who is that? What is that? And that was the purpose of the, what I'm saying, to just have something to now y'all know I am not a fan of dark colors in any way, shape, form. It is known throughout the league like that. I don't like dark colors. So, but yeah, that's how I kind of catch people's attention with that bright color. So maybe like BJ said, it might be something that works, but when you catch it, it pops, right? Because it's a good contrast. You have the dark and you have something to contrast against it to kind of make both stand out at that point. But anyways, I digress. So now you BJ link up, right? Because now BJ has spent time in that area. You're born and raised from that area, right? And then, so y'all link up and all right, let's do this. It comes down, we got 10 applicants. When you said the story about, that's why I started laughing. Because yes, we've seen our fair share of applications that are just,
I'm gonna pass.
So y'all get it. Y'all are in Dell swimwear. Y'all are Minnesota legend down. How'd y'all wind up with the legend? How did you wind up with your color scheme? And then from there, we're going to touch on a couple of the things, then we'll get into your schedule. So B, if you want to get into how y'all wind up falling on legends as a team name, and then the color scheme, how'd that work out for you?
So when Axel brought his original templates to the table, obviously the freeze, which was okay, but it didn't really hit home for me. Then the Sasquatch, he brought up the Minnesota Sasquatch.
Okay. And
he had this whole write-up of, the breakdown of the Sasquatch appearances in northern Minnesota and that whole background story, and just a bunch of facts and stuff like that. I was like, this could work. But Sasquatch, to me, when you say it, Minnesota Sasquatch, from a sports or branding standpoint, a little long in the tooth. So I'm like, it's okay, but it's too generic.
Okay.
So I was like, so we started throwing other names at the wall. I came up with Minnesota Lore, which is something similar.
Yeah.
And that didn't really hit home. And then we came across Minnesota Legends with an S on it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Legends is like, it almost gave like we were trying to pull off the whole, basically what Canton's doing, because they got classics, but like legendary players, that type of deal.
Yeah.
So I was like, we could drop the S
Mm-hmm.
and go legend, like urban legend. So
Yes.
it fits.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's how we ended up with that, and we both liked it, and we ran with it.
That's cool. It's cool.
So-
Now, how'd you wind up with the colors? With that, with your dark green and silver and black?
No, that's more of an Axel question.
Sure.
Axel, so what you got for me, baby? What you got? What you
Yeah, north and central Minnesota, a lot of pine trees and birch trees. That's a lot of what's out there. And pine, evergreen, it stays green throughout the winter and everything. So that's sort of where the green comes from itself. I stole a little bit of inspiration from the Eagles, because our sort of green, because green doesn't go great with a lot of super great a lot of things. I don't know. So we went with sort of a monochromatic theme as well, to sort of have that highlight on two different shades of green, or play with a little bit of that hiding in the trees, blackness, dark, creepy kind of thing. So that's sort of where that came from. And yeah, drew some initial sketches of what our logo could look like. One, to sort of pulling on like Louisiana's use of their state, wanting to put that. So he's in the background, and some of our tertiary, branding has the state with the guy inside of it, that kind of thing. So that's sort of where it comes from, is really capturing the environment of where the legend lives.
I was just like, when I first saw your bid, and I think it was like 99 pages. Like, I don't know how many pages you had in the bid. That thing was thick, like a phone book, right? But it was thorough, and I liked, I don't exactly remember what I told y'all, but I liked your design. I liked everything, how you explained it. I just want to, you to convey that to the people that are going to be, partaking of this podcast, so they can understand, where this emanated from, because I like the story, and I like what's behind it. It's not just we threw something, it worked, and we're gone. Like, right? Yeah. No, there's actual something behind it that makes a lot of sense. So, and
I don't even, having made the uniforms, and we even, before, right after we were doing re-signings, we still hadn't had time to get our uniform files over to Destro for packaging and things. So we actually sat down as a maybe there was like 6, 8, 10 people. We were perfecting a couple things, like on the socks, or that kind of thing.
One stripe or two stripes, VJ.
Yeah, right. It all came together.
Yeah.
We progressively we were like, because I think we get 6 slots.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were like, damn, there's only so much we can do with black, silver, green, white. But it came together. Yeah. We got some new ones for y'all this year too.
Okay, so that's what's up. We don't, the big thing with me is at least for branding purposes, is I like to keep it as simple, minimalistic as possible, right? Yeah. So that way, if we're in the playoffs, we always wear the same set. It's always red helmet, electric blue top, dark blue pants. If we're on the road, it's red helmet, white top, dark blue pants. So that way, because those games are prominent, they're on everything, right? So you want to make sure that when people see you, they know who you are, they know they recognize you instantly, where they're not having to hunt. Well, hold up, this is iteration 19. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's nice to have a bunch of kits, but you want to at least get your set the mark, right? So people know who you are first, and then you could become adventurous and drop a hot pick that everyone gets mad at you about. I'm sorry, Andy. I'm sorry. Okay.
But
so go ahead, B. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, when it came to that, we kept our basics, the green set and the gray set, and we dropped a couple in there, like our charity uniform, but that's like you said, it's like it's a special occasion thing.
Yeah.
And we definitely, when it came to the playoff game, it wasn't a question other than to go with our regular output.
Yeah, it's been a very strategic thing of like making sure that we've got like, make sure we get like 2 or 3 regular games, one in, then you get 2 or 3 regular games, with the default one. Yeah,
that's kind of how we do it. Over like we might have one special jersey kit that wear once against a specific opponent. Once I see the schedule, I'm like, oh, we played them. Like last season, we played Mexico City. Mexico City was the first team we ever faced when we got a team. And we wore dark gray jersey against them in game 1. And so we made sure that when we played them last, not season 19, season 18, because it was also our 100th game.
That was right on point.
So I'm saying, so we like, man, we got to, against Mexico City, we have to wear this. Like it came full circle. So it was, but yes, I wouldn't overextend on a special jersey. I like have, like, you know what I'm saying? If the schedule comes out and y'all play Arizona and then y'all play Houston, it's like, there's a chance to drop. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying? We play Sioux Falls in a playoff game. Just anyway, that's how we do it. I don't know how. I'm not trying to tell y'all how to do your thing. I'm just saying that's how we do it. So now y'all are the top dogs in Minnesota, right? Y'all are 1A and 1B. Now, how does the rest of the hierarchy work in Minnesota? Your DOC, your social media guy, your GM, head coach, scouts. Go ahead and lay it out on the line so that people get their props.
Oh, that our GM extraordinaire kind of, or our mentor, GM mentor, go through it.
So we definitely went through a hierarchy of trying to put the right guys in the right spot. So, but we ultimately ended up going with Jason France from Tulsa. I saw he had done a bunch of, DOC work in Tulsa and really engaged and really active over there. And a lot of those Tulsa guys spoke highly of him. And we just sat down and had an interview with him. And we talked, I think we went back to Jason, 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, and it was awesome. It came through really well in an interview.
And because I think we originally had him pegged for another position. I think we were going to laterally move him to DOC originally, I believe.
Something, yeah.
And
that experience, so.
And I was like, he has a little deeper passion than just DOC work. I was like, let's give him a shot at GM. We had a bunch of names on the list, but he stood out. So that went there. And he's been a great asset to the team and fit right in with the culture we've built at this point. And then and he was fantastic as a first-time GM, and me being an experienced GM, he was the perfect, he soaked up all the information and the right questions to ask, where guys fit in the lineups and things like that. And it was just seamless to him. So that was a perfect fit for us. Then we ended up with a team as far as, social media, DOC. That ended up being Daniel Wright, Derek Meerkat, and Johnny Reno. They run our social media communications department at this point. Axel, of course, assists with his graphic knowledge, but he gave those guys a tool and they all ran with it in their own creative ways. So that's been a strength of ours on that end, is obviously the social media, the communications department, me having a communication background and setting those guys up in the right direction, and Axel's graphic background. So we just announced that Johnny's the full-time DOC now for us as of yesterday.
That's dope. Oh, speaking of your social media department, we're gonna get into that with your rivals when we get towards the back end of the schedule. Just I want you to just be aware. But as for what occurs on the field, who scouts, who's coaching to make sure that, hey, y'all just came off a successful season, to make sure y'all remain successful and push forward for more. Like who holds that down?
So Axel, as of this season, we initially came in with Axel as the offensive coordinator and Johnny Bravo of Charleston fame as the defensive coordinator.
Yes. Okay.
So we starting out, we were really, really tough. Everything was. Then we hit a skid, and then we had a what you call a fairy godmother miracle appearance out of nowhere. A former friend of yours, Ben Jackson, drops into our lap. Say, well, I feel like you guys need some. I like the way you guys are going. Let's see what we can do. Ben comes in, things change, and it changed for the better. We made a run. He helped majorly in the scouting department. John, he kind of stepped into the role, because Johnny had real life things come up, so he kind of laterally stepped into that role, and it all came together. Him and Axel meshed really, 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 really well, and they just hit the ball running. It was like it's a great partnership for us.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good because like this is what I try to tell or advise anyone that asks me about coaching. Don't make coaching a one-man job.
You can't.
I mean, you can, but you're gonna burn that person out. I know from experience, you're gonna burn that person out. And secondly, the reason why you don't want to make it a one-man job because when real life happens, you got a locker room full of people that are relying on you to put forth a timely and competitive out, you know what I'm saying, playbook together. So when that one person you're leaning on to take care of that falls to the wayside, you can't come back to your locker room and hey, so we weren't able to do anything this week with the playbook because coach had to do, like, you can't, like, that's not something. I'm sorry, as a paid member of this community, I'd be like, nah, that ain't gonna slide, B. You gotta fix that, right? So it's advantageous to at least the way we got it, or the way we had it in Florida when Ben was with us. I was the head coach and the defense coordinator. Ben was the OC, and then when Art came over as the head coach, Art was the head coach, and the DC. Ben was the OC, and I was the scout. So that way, if Ben had stuff going on, I could jump in and help out. If Art had something going on, I could jump in and help out. So that way, there's nothing falling through the cracks because we have three pair of eyes on the playbook to make sure that the playbook's turned in at the right time. All our T's are crossed and I's are dotted. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that it's kind of like putting fail safes in place. Right, efficient. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we're good.
Cross-trained, yeah, to
make sure that we're good. So that way, there's none of that. Well, hey, Cab messaged you at 3 a.m. My God, you got 25 deletions. Like that ain't gonna work, right? But if you don't have someone watching it, right, or worse, you get the 130. Hey, so you gonna turn in the playbook tonight? Not saying I've gotten that message before. I'm hypothesizing. Right. So it's good to have, you know what I'm saying, just multiple people there, and just kind of safeguards to make sure that everything's done on up and up. And just also as a way to kind of iron sharpening iron, right? Because in scouting, I might see one thing, and then the OC might see one thing while he's running his practices in Sims, and the DC might see another thing. So yeah, bounce off each other. Hey, I'm seeing this. You seeing this too? Let me try it out. Hey, I'm seeing that too. Okay. Or, oh, yeah, I'm seeing this. You seeing that too? No, I didn't. Let me try it out. Oh, man, thanks for letting me know. And then, right? And then you got that wrinkle and catch them sleeping during that game. And then, we got a 50 burger because we saw something no one else saw. So, but anyways, like I'm all for more bodies in the coaching department, right? As long as, especially if you could coach them up, like scouts, like you were asking, Axel. Yeah, to have someone break a game down is great, but then to explain to them what they broke down and why they saw what they saw, what teams were trying to accomplish, where they failed and where they succeeded. Because I'm big on execution, right? There was an old quote from the old Tampa Bay coach. Sam, was it Sam? I forgot his last name. Where he asked about his team's execution, and he said he's all for it. That's how bad they were, because he's ready to get rid of everybody, right? But I'm big on execution. Right. I don't play the result, which is, it's wild to say, right? I don't care about the result. I care about how did we get there, right? Almost like a math problem. 1 + 1 is 2. Okay, you told me that, but show me how you got to that. That's what I need to know, because I need to make sure that if the execution is sound, I know the result will take care of itself 9 times out of 10. So, all right, let's get into this schedule, right? Them boys are looking good this season. 1, 2, 3, 4. Them boys won 6. What?
Really quick.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Daniel Wright, who stepped in and helped scout and found little tidbits about everything we played, and we implemented it in the playbook, and it definitely helped us get some wins. He didn't full time scout, but he did scout some sides of the ball, and that guy. We run by a philosophy of, if you want to help or if you want to be involved, so be it. More hands help the ship move forward. So, hey, all the credit in the world to Daniel and his help and Ben and all those guys to help put together that coaching room and kind of make a season out of it. A successful first season 19 for us.
Speaking of success, week 1 at Ken. I don't know why you're on the road as an expansion team. To me, you should be at home, right? First game, whatever. That's neither here nor there. We get that first dub. Get that monkey off the back now, stupid monkey. Like, get off me. Get 23-10. That was looking good out the gate. Now, hold on. I'm gonna ask this because I have to ask this. You win that first game. How good were you feeling? First dub. I'm leaning back. Axel, because I want to hear the response. Axel, tell me, how good were you feeling after week 1?
So I was at the convention watching on the giant 27.
I saw that.
And I felt so engaged. I was like screaming at things, and Michael and Mike Twinscrew wanted to sit next to me. They're like, yep, we want to, because there's such a camaraderie in the league itself, but it felt so good seeing us come out there and it wasn't a huge domination, but it was enough to subdue them and things. But yeah, it felt really good to have that. And like, we can actually do this. Hey, wow. So.
Did you say subdue? Really? It felt good to subdue. Axel, what are we doing? Really? Subdue? That's what we're doing?
I don't know.
We're subduing.
Okay. Destroying.
So B. After that win, you're like, man, we're going undefeated. It's easy right here. It's cake, right?
Yeah, it was hype. It was definitely hype getting that first one on, especially on a big stage, and everybody in the locker room. We've brought together. I think Cam had mentioned it during the free agency show that we had grabbed 23 people from like 12 different teams or something like that.
Okay.
And brought them all together, and it was just hype in the locker room, just excitement. It was like, first win, you guys, like, we got this, and
yeah, we're going undefeated. We're on the table. They can't see us.
And especially with it being, with it all being expansion teams, 2 expansion teams going against each other, it was an extra level of incentive to us. Like, oh, we the baddest expansion team because we were the only expansion team to win that week. So it was like, yeah, we were fired up. So it was a great morale booster to start the season.
Okay, so week 2. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the day after hits me. I'm in Vegas. On my way to the airport. I had like 2 hours before my flight. I was in that flight waiting room, scouting Sioux Falls game, because it hit me like, hey, we just won. People are expecting us to win against them, and they're a tough. I think it was an away game there as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of away games in that first few weeks. But yeah, it was tough. Sitting against them, things were looking well. We won most of the time. Performed pretty well and made sure of that on our side. But again, not knowing exactly what they might throw at us, having only 1 game to scout, and things, knowing that they've changed up, some of their games since a couple years ago when they weren't performing. They found a little bit more of what last season they found what they were missing in those first couple after the Legends shift and things. But we knew it was going to be tough. We went in there and as a defensive team held them pretty low, and came back, struggled back. There was a fumble, a forced fumble and a fumble return for a touchdown there. Mississippi, Derek Meerkat were part of that. It was an amazing game, and it went up right up to that end. I think they then were able to kick a field goal and win by 1. I think 11-10 or something, or
16-14.
Like that.
16-14 was the final score. And yes, it was, though it kind of brought you down from the high of week 1. You still felt like, hold up, we hung tough and we could have won this. oh yeah, we belong, right, BJ? That's kind of how you felt that after that.
Yeah.
After that loss, you don't like to lose, but
Right.
there was something to take from this.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those moments where we're in the room when they kicked the game-winning field goal. It was like we took a playoff team at this point to the brink. They're going to be in our division, so we know we can hang with them at the least at this point.
And now week 3 comes, and for some odd reason, y'all just gonna face all the teams y'all used to play for, right? So we finally get the home game. Week 3, like Cam, show the guys some love, little love. So week 3, we host Queen City, right? And then we kind of get to flex a little bit. We get to drop the first 30 burger in legend franchise history, 134-22. B, how you feeling after that though?
It was bittersweet because it was bittersweet. I mean, the win is a win, and we all happy to win. Winning fixes everything. But you still got friends in certain places, and it's bittersweet to see them going through the things they're going through, and you had those friendly conversations with guys that the team you used to play for, or they used to play for you, and you get those friendly camaraderie back and forth, and oh, we're gonna kick your tail this week, and all of the other stuff. Then it's like, yeah, all right, yeah, get up out of here. But yeah, it was a fun back and forth for sure.
So Axel, you're sitting at 2-1, going into the bye week. You're like, man, this running franchise thing, man, it's simple. I don't know why they told me to be careful. Hey, like it's gonna be hard work. Hey, it's cake work here, right, Axel?
Yeah, it was during that week that thankfully it coincided with a week family vacation, which means I was still simming the second half of the vacation, but it gave me a little bit of a reprieve, and just sort of time to reflect and think, and it felt surreal that we were on the winning side of 50 or 500, and watching the Jack's Data little rankings that they do, just seeing us sort of slowly starting to keep climbing, and like people's confidence in us felt both good but also terrifying because expectations to live up to and things, right? So and for me, that first loss really was hard, but to see us come back with bounce back in a strong way with QCC was nice to see for the team. So
question for y'all though, how was the locker room after going into the bye week? Y'all were 2-1. How's the locker room? How's the vibe? What's the vibe like? Yeah, if y'all like to share about that a little bit.
It's the longest week ever.
Yes.
Especially when you're above 500, you're like, man, what does next one got in store for us? We've been here a long time, and those wins and losses, they put a certain amount of anxiety in you. So now when you own a team, the anxiety is times 5. It's like, because you got people depending on you. So it's like, holy crap, this long bye week, while it's refreshing, is also nerve-wracking. Like, damn, we want to get to this next game. Because in that bye week, you can definitely overplan sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna tell you what I tell my good friend down in Arizona. That you used. I tell him this, he don't listen. He does whatever he pleases. During bye weeks, I don't touch the game. I don't watch. I don't know. I might catch a game here or there of some teams that I know gonna bring it. Your Baltimore's. And Vancouver, I catch Mexico City. I watch teams just to see what they bring in, because I'm able to kind of catch a breath. I don't have to scout, so I'm not. I'm saying. Though I watch every game like a coach, I don't have to scout, so I'm not writing anything down. I'm just watching. Oh, Mexico City. Oh, I see how y'all use Dags over there. Oh, I see how Vancouver uses Redford and throwing that thing to BK out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the Scorpions and their high octane offense, even though their owner believes that he's not a good offensive coordinator. So I'm watching stuff like that. During the bye week. But as to game planning, no, man. No. I don't do no work during not that bye week. It's all about refreshing the batteries, because I know the season long. It's only 3 months, but it feels long.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and conversely about the bye week, not season 19, season 18. February was the longest month ever for us because we lost bye week, lost, bye week. Bro, when I tell you February was the worst. So I hear you when you say that bye week long, boy. Hey, at least y'all won going in. We lost going in and lost coming out. It was terrible. But anyway, so bye week's over. We're prepped. We're ready. We're at a rebranded St. Louis Gladiators, now Motor City V8s, right? And yeah, defensive slugfest. Yeah.
I like those games.
And y'all walk out. All right. Like those games. Lemon booty the whole fourth quarter. I got your heart racing, taking years off your life. I like those games. Okay, so y'all get out of there with 16 up y'all with a victory of 16-13. Y'all sitting at 3-1. I don't know if there is a stat out there, but Jack's data, if you watch this, I need a stat of teams that start 3-1. Their percentage of them that missed the playoffs. That's for Jack's data.
I think in this league is kind of. I think it's kind of high.
Oh, I know it's high. I just don't know the number, and I'm not going to crush the numbers because we got a whole division. Jack's data handle that for us, right? So, so y'all are 3-1. Axel, locker room is on and popping. We going to the championship. How you feel after that game?
It was fun. It was nice to be in that moment. It was. Listen. You're so subdued right now. That's true. It was quite nice to be 3-1. We took it quite. It was simple, but we're gonna stand as a long road to hell. No, don't give me that, Axel. How you felt after 3-1? It felt good. It felt like surreal, like not knowing exactly like. Is this legitimate? Who's throwing these games so we can win? Kind of thing. And yeah, going into Motor City too, it's like they had taken on I think London in week 2, and they brought like a dime only package. So we're I don't know if they're gonna bring that or what. So I was planning and prepping, then submitted the playbooks the next day. I was chatting or DMing with Drew really, and like we went with this kind of, focus on this kind of run set. He's like, no, we thought you were going to go on the outsides. And we're like, yes, maybe we can do this. And, with them at that point, it was, you don't know what they're going to be bringing to you. So it was good to sneak out of there with the win. But knowing that we had London coming up was, 3-1 looked good, but there having been through this with San Diego, things can go awry and it's hard to get them back on track if they go too far off, but.
So the next week, y'all are at the Queensway to face London. London that not only made the playoffs, had a deep run in the playoffs. And y'all went up on the short end of this one. Y'all lost 24-14. All is not lost. You still have a winning record at that time. How are you feeling after that London game?
We came out of it optimistic because we went in it obviously, we're 3-1. We're London's undefeated. We got the defense. It's defense versus offense. And then Robert Merrill cracks us for a 98-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that kind of hurts.
That sucks the air out of the room quick. It's like, oh my God. But then we kind of clamped down, but the offense got kind of stagnant. So it was like, we were like, damn, if it wasn't for those 2 home run plays from London, we could have beat them. So obviously, if ifs was fifths, we'd be drunk. Yeah.
Well,
so
gotcha.
So it was still optimism, and all right, let's next game move forward. We took a shot in London and we missed our swing. So it was like, go ahead.
So you come home hoping to kind of rally the troops and kind of lick your wounds from the London loss, and then Tulsa happens. Tulsa happens, right? Y'all lost 34-21, and it's like, and then the bye week. Remember that loss going to the bye week? That awful loss going into the bye week. Axel, how we feeling heading to the bye off 2 L's?
it was how, going into Tulsa, I thought we had them. I thought Sims were looking great. So that was a tough loss itself. So not only two down, going into it, but also one that you just didn't really expect, going into a 4-0 London, who's pretty established and been proving in the previous games, high flying, or not necessarily high flying, high yardage,
high scoring, yeah.
Sort of expect maybe that one that we'd had less of a chance, but I felt that we had Tulsa. We had them in the first, I think, 3 quarters, and then everything stalled out and things. But yeah, it was tough. Every loss is tough, but it's hard going. There's a stretch of just like, do we spend this extra time doing something to change, as what the next game, thinking that effort is what's going to bring you success necessarily. And it doesn't always do that. It just makes you stronger. But yeah, it's tough.
So B, yeah, how was the locker room after 2 losses going into the bye? How's the locker room during the bye week? Is there unrest? Is there questions? Is everyone upbeat?
No, there weren't questions. It got antsy. It was like, all right, another bye week. Jesus, not right now. It's like, right. So it was antsy, really antsy. Guys were ready for that next game. They were chomping at the bit.
Okay, so let's get into the next game then. So y'all are coming out of bye week, another road game because Cam don't like y'all. Y'all are at Carolina this time. and Carolina edges y'all out. And so now you got 3 straight L's. That your first I don't consider 2 L's a losing streak. It's just a hiccup. 3 L's, that's a streak. So we streaking the wrong way. Axel, if you want to go into how you feeling, or if you want to go what happened, where you want to take it.
That's the Carolina game again was an interesting one where again a tale of 2 halves ultimately, working really well. And I think it was just sort of towards the end something fell apart. So it's like that, like you said, if everything isn't executing on lockstep, like some things just come apart. Like the little misalignments become bigger and bigger as time goes by, and it just wasn't a game for us. Yeah, and we knew something had to change, and I think that was the week that Daniel, didn't pause the scouting, but he's like, I think I was overthinking it. I was going too far. He was just a good sounding board in that locker room, or the front office area, the playbook room, whatever you want to call it, to help keep me sane and provide a kind of a devil's advocate a little bit to towing more of a balanced line than going hog wild to try to fix something that maybe wasn't.
Delete everything, get rid of everything, nothing works. Yeah,
just burn it all down.
So B, the following week, hey, it's rival time. So now I gave I don't know if y'all caught the last week's podcast when I talked to the boys in Indy, and I gave y'all props because listen, I'm not much into trash talk. Y'all, you heard B. I don't. I'm the type that used to quite trash talk. Oh, you want to talk? Okay, come on, let's play. And then when the game over, it's like, very good. See you next game, right? So now trash talk galore. While I was scrolling social media together. Gotta get your schedule together. I seen the Rambler stuck in the forest there, and I couldn't make it out. I'm like, what's going on? The trash talk between Indy and Indianapolis and Minnesota. What's going on? So I'm loving the back and forth because y'all are getting at each other, but y'all not. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing vile, right? It's not your mama this and no your sister that. You know what I'm saying? It's trash talk for competition's sake, which I love. And then guess what? Y'all got to get off the snide against the rivals, right? And so y'all come back home, get to regroup, and y'all beat Indianapolis 27-22. Beat what it is.
So the start with the way the rivalry started, it was like, well, we knew that with the expansion, I think we kind of figured out that us and Indianapolis were getting it, and Cam was going to place us somewhere in central USA. So it's like, we're 2 expansion teams paired with 2 vet teams. Let's start up something between the 2 expansion teams in the division. We're the only division with 2 expansion teams in it at that point. So we're like, all right, let's get this snide rolling. So even prior to week 1, we're starting to throw little twigs on the fire and go a little back and forth. And the car memes and the check engine lights. And all of that mess. And me and Chad had talked about it. Like, all right, it's time for somebody to make a rivalry other than Vice Wars. Vice Wars has had its heyday. It's kind of leveled out. Let's get something started. So gradually we're starting to talk trash. And the closer we're getting to this matchup, week of the matchup, we're really landing on thick.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing players into it. I think we told no, that was the second time around. I'll get to that later. But we're landed on thick, and after a while you start seeing people that aren't usually in Gen Chat creeping in, and they're reacting to the memes. And thank God for Axel and Johnny, because I'm throwing ideas at them and they're cranking them out like the pregnancy test with the check engine light in it.
Oh my goodness.
Hilarious. People loved it. There's a couple other ones, but it got a life of its own, and it started getting people involved, and the rookies loved it. They were like, oh, this is can't miss television now. We gotta watch this game. And that's the whole purpose of it, was to drive up interest about another rivalry in the SFL. And so now we're moving forward with this. We're going to try to make this the biggest rivalry in the SFL, just off interaction, good games, interaction, and just something like that. So I say in season 1 of this rivalry, it's a success.
Oh, definitely, because both games are competitive, and again, the jabs, though funny, you know what I'm saying, they weren't disrespectful, right? You know what I'm saying, B? Like there's trash talk, and then there's, oh, okay, when this game's over, you realize I'm gonna be waiting for you right there. Like there's that. Like, you know, it wasn't that, which is perfectly fine. So Axel, after the trash talk game, we're back on the win, red, right? We're 500, and then we gotta host Baltimore. Like this. Can we play somebody else? Y'all got anybody? Really?
Check, please.
But Axel said, no, we got that. And you got that, all right. Get that big dub against Baltimore. Axel, you can't tell me you just want to just wail out there. You just want to wail out there again. We got you. We gonna do things now. How'd you feel, Axel?
It felt amazing. It felt like it wasn't real. Like literally the 4 seconds Wigman he was gonna be or Wigmore he was gonna be throwing an Hail Mary. We've seen that successful sometimes, and
the ball was in the air forever.
like a helium balloon.
And around I think this is the one when Max Knight came around and tackled him, like sacked him or hit him right as he was throwing or something, and it was just like, wait, what just happened? I don't even understand what it wasn't. You plan the best you can, and you know things were looking pretty good, but you don't really think that it's going to happen because of who Baltimore is. It's so surreal. It's unbelievable that it actually happened.
So now y'all are 5-4, right? Just 3/4 of the schedule done, right? It's time now. This is the playoff stretch. You're in the thick of it. You think you got a chance. You're coming off 2 big time wins. One against your rival, one against the elite, the upper echelon of, and then you have to host DC, right? You got to host my boy Shabazz Synergy. You know what I'm saying? Destro and the rest of that squad, and y'all prevail with a high scoring, high flying game. Prevail. Y'all draw 38. You know, y'all won 38-31. B, 3 in a row.
Locker room's going crazy. Locker room's going crazy.
Bet.
Especially because we stopped them on the goal line. Time ran out.
Lauren Prococo had the ball, right? I think in 90 slats or something up the middle. And when I don't know if it was you or Juan Mississippi or someone, maybe Derek or something, tackled her at like the 2-yard line, keeping her from getting the game tying touchdown.
That's a clutch.
And time went out.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's dope. So you tell me the locker room is hot now. We're gonna do things.
Oh yeah, we feel unbeatable at that point. It's like you didn't beat the top two teams. You didn't beat two of the top three teams in the league, and then you think back to that London loss and like, if it's not for those two plays, we in business. And everybody got a smile on their face. We're hosting 15 to 18 people in game chat. It's live. The room shaking, and we on Discord.
Okay, that's that. Okay, that's what's up. So the following week we get to host another game. How'd y'all pull out 4 straight home games? Can I get that schedule, Cam? I'm just asking.
Ask Cam.
So y'all in the home finale, y'all host the Charleston Predators and drop another 38. And win this one 38-13. So Axel, week 13, you know what I'm saying? You're 7-4 at that point. You're feeling good. Yeah. What's the mental? Where mentals is at?
Yeah, it was great to be. We had been, I think, after Carolina. What do we need to win? We need to win a certain amount to feel, get to that 7-5 area, to get into that area, to be able to at least feel like we have a chance at the playoffs. And we mentally had we assumed they were going to be from Charleston and Indy to end the season, and that we were going to be giving up Baltimore and DC, but to go in and beat Baltimore and DC and then, roll on CHS, it felt like, the wind was full in our sails. Like there was no stopping us. And I think we had that same type of mentality. And like we did it once, we'll do it a second time coming into Indy to wrap up the season too.
So, okay. So now we get the rubber match, right? Of the rivalry, or the trash talking, right? And Indy's at that point, they're not having a very successful season, because going into week 14, I believe they were 2-9, right? Yep. So they're struggling coming out of the back end, ain't feeling too hot, but they're in their words, they were liking how their process is coming along. And y'all dropped this one 16-19, very competitive game. You just outlasted y'all in this one. So B, you were touching upon some of the trash talk being had leading into this game.
It got funny because I think Chad came up with the what did he call her? He called her something. I can't remember, but Chad.
Bigfoot Betty or something like
Bigfoot,
that?
there you go. Bigfoot Betty. Bigfoot Betty got caught at the hotel in Indianapolis. And then we came back with the citation. The for moving too slow and a moving violation.
Moving violation.
Too slow.
They were clocked at 2 and 10.
Right.
Lord.
So Axel drops the whole written citation is signed by a cop with a Sasquatch name.
Yep.
And then he pulled, I don't know where he pulled it from, the picture of Chad and Adam together, and then he photoshops the ticket in Chad's hand.
And then Adam's in the background giving a peace sign. We're 2 and 10. An exclamation point. So it's fun. When things come together.
It worked. It worked together, and it was hilarious. People loved it.
So okay, so y'all dropped that one. Y'all 7-5. Y'all are heading to the playoffs. Prior to knowing who the opponent was, what was your thought process about how you felt the season went, and what opponents you thought you might be running into for your first playoff game? B, go ahead and
I think if I'm not mistaken, DC, had they won that game, and I think somebody had to lose, they would have jumped into the bye week territory. So I think it was
it might have been us, because our win kind of screwed everything up.
Yeah. So I think it was either them or it wasn't you guys. I think Fort Worth or something. I could be wrong. Okay. But we knew we were going to have a tough one with the way that DC game ended the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And Destro's been around a long time. Shabazz has been around a long time. Yeah. Steven has been around a long time. So we knew it was going to be a slugfest.
Yeah. So playoff game happens. Y'all are at DC this time, so they're hosting y'all. And Y'all lose this one 20-8. What went wrong, Axel?
I don't think. I think our defense was that we used was very effective. I think that at halftime it was 7-5 or something like that, like really low, like baseball numbers, and that there was a defensive slug out. And I think if anything, we might have thrown in one too many interceptions. I think we might have had two, and if we only had one at least in the first half, first three quarters, it was weird. Neck and neck. It seemed like the AI, like the defenses and offenses were programmed perfectly enough that it seemed like the AI was like, I don't know what to do. I don't like throwing in weird random things. Like, we'll give you a sack over here, or we'll make your quarterback do something else weird.
And then Simons got hurt.
What was that?
Simons got hurt.
That was it seemed like that there was like a three something. So this was I think in the late in the third quarter, early fourth, Buchanan Simons got injured on one play. We were on like the 25-yard line, could be in that probably ended up having to settle for a field goal or something like that. But oh no, we didn't. So Buchanan Simons got injured. The very next play, Reno threw an interception, and then the very next play was a long touchdown bomb. So like that injury, and then the things that followed, just the momentum, just like no, we now know
their way. Yeah,
kind of feel it. But in the beginning, it was just like stalemate, right? So it was a interesting game to watch.
Okay, so playoffs didn't go the way we wanted it to, but all in all, for an inaugural season, it was a pretty good one. Yeah, over 7-6 overall, 7-5 regular season, winning record. That counts for something. Yeah, I know the playoff loss was terrible, but now that you got a little time, put a little time behind it, you look back at the season, it wasn't a waste in no way, shape, form, because you had a bunch of guys, you had a bunch of guys step up into roles, wanting to help out and wanting to be legend for life, or wanting to help the legend be better than he possibly could be. So that was a good thing there. So what's your thoughts about the season, at least your first season now as the Minnesota Legend? And you might not want to reveal the plans you have for next season, but just your thoughts on what the horizon, what's on the horizon, what might lay out there for you.
I'd say we established the ground floor, and I feel like we put a pretty decent foundation down for what we want the Legend to be on and off the field. Mm-hmm. And for 20, we want to progressively move forward and grow, whether it be coaching, whether it be player development, player interaction. We just want to keep building on that foundation for sure.
Okay. You feel the same, Axel?
Yeah. BJ, we were just talking the other day about in our little DM kind of thing about there's been some evidence, and progressively more and more quality and or frequency of some evidence that we've been feeling about developing the type of reputation or brand that we want within the community, that we're seen as a good landing spot for anybody in the draft, or as a signing or things. People respect what we've been putting together, and that who we are as individuals and owners, and the responsibility, respect that we have for the position, and that we are we're SFL lifers, investing a lot of time and energy into growing what we have in our area, but also the general. So I feel like there's been, again, like I said, more frequency and more in general positive responses about what we've been doing. And then, like, maybe out of business front, before we even had any player step foot on the field, that we've been trying to find some partners or other individuals or places to get the word out, or to partner with for social media campaigns, or to develop I want to continue to build like a regional following or regional viewership in the Minnesota area. So trying to reach out to businesses and partners that we could maybe connect on, make equally beneficial deal kind of thing, and move the brand of who the Legend are, continue to expand that, communicate it better, broader, and similarly, through linkage to SFL and everybody else in the league to see, we're only as good as our worst team, our worst link kind of thing. So I want to bring everybody up. So
good stuff. Okay, we have reached a portion of the show where the floor is now yours, gentlemen, and you get to ask me whatever you please, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. So don't be shy, don't be bashful. What y'all got?
I got one, but I'll let Axel.
Sure, I'll lob a softie at you, maybe. Are you our pharmacist of some sort or something?
No, sir.
Where does the RX come from?
Oh, that's long time. Okay. I'm Axel, we're about the same age. So when we used to have to play video games when we were younger, we didn't really have home systems. We used to have to go to the arcade, right? Yep. Play Street Fighter, your Mortal Kombat, Top Run, right? You know what I'm saying? So okay, TV, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So at the end, whenever you got a high score, you got to put your name in there. And I didn't want to put my real name, right, Max. So I used to go put in Rad, R-A-D. And eventually, so I took that R and like there got to be a way I could. And then I started to get into like hip hop and recording tracks or whatnot. I'm like, I can't use my real name, because I needed a moniker to use. I'm like, you know what? I could use that R. But why would go? And I'm like, Mighty RX. Right, like a prescription, right? Like it's like so now, because I still got the first and I still got the first letter, I still got the last letter. Just I filled it. So because Mighty's been my name forever. Because I'm diminutive. Your boy number 5, 6.5. I'm proud of that half, by the way. I'm very proud of that half. My main number 5, 6.5. I used to hoop with the best of them, play football with the best of them. So my nickname was Mighty Max, Mighty Max and Mighty Mouse, right? That was my nickname. So I took Mighty, added RX, and Mighty RX's name. And that's been my name forever.
Awesome.
Now Mighty RX forever.
Awesome. Cool. I never knew that. I just assumed it had to do with like a pharmacy or something. I don't know.
Yes-ish, but not the way you think.
Yeah.
Be what you got for me. I see the wheels turning. What you got?
It's a funny one, but it's a good one. Doyle, man.
That's my dude. Leave my boy alone. Okay?
Doyle, what's up with Doyle?
Just because he got his own Discord reaction don't mean nothing. Okay? Leave my boy alone. Okay? Listen, you gotta understand. Okay, he's a professional troll.
Absolutely.
That's so if you understand that and take everything with a grain of salt, he does not rub you the wrong way. Right? Now, but mind you, Doyle is my GM. I have no problem with Doyle. Matter of fact, he got some. If you actually got to chat with Doyle, he got some of the best stories ever. And he's only been around 2 seconds. Like this is a young man. He got zero. Okay, I won't say zero. He has some life experience, but nowhere near as much of us. But he got stories for days.
Days. And you'd be like,
that's my
what?
Boy. That's my boy though.
But he's got like the stories how you like, what? How old are you?
That's what I'm saying. I love Doyle. That's my dude. Yeah. That's my dude. That's it.
And I think I got another one for you. What would you say to Mighty when he first got into the SFL? Now the knowledge that you have now.
You know what's funny? Okay, this is gonna sound so pretentious of me. I am not much different than when I first got in the league. The difference is I have credentials now. You know what I'm saying? Like because when I got in the league, my mindset was I want to be different than everybody else. My mindset was very much, I want to be like Bill Belichick and the Patriots when we're with young Brady, not old Brady, young Brady, meaning 1 week we might run the ball 50 times, next week we might throw it 50 times. You don't know what the defense is going to do.
Right.
You just know the defense will be prepared. That was the mindset week in and week out. And to get coaches to want to come over was difficult because I guess I didn't lay enough groundwork for people to know who I was in year one. And then in year two happens. And at the end of year two, Cam's told me something Cam said something to me. Cam, let me tell you what Cam said. Why do people ask you anything? You ain't done nothing.
Oh,
That's the end of season 9.
Mm.
So and then so 10 happens,
11
happens, 12 happens, and at that point, but now I'm on the opposite side. So now I couldn't get nobody to come because they didn't know who I was. Now I'm on the opposite side where, oh, you win too much. We can't come there because if we mess it up, they're gonna blame us. I'm like, bro, I can't. Come on. What does you? So I gotta hold it down, and you know what I'm saying. So, but it's so really, it's just that I always want to lean on others because I'm big on sharing my experience so that way they have a chance to blossom, and then if they go off to to do their own thing, that's great, right? Or kind of like the same way TJ got the gigantic Baltimore tree. Like the Baltimore tree is ginormous.
Yeah, at this point.
Okay,
yeah.
that's that. Now I'm not looking at it like I want a tree like his. I'm looking at it like I want to be able to help the next generation of SFLers do their own thing, so that way they could run their own franchise, be successful, win championships, and then they get paid forward, and then they get paid forward. But it's just like I said, I like now. I was telling who was telling this to. I think I was telling Eddie, bro. Like this off season, I haven't done a thing between Alessandro Tomaello. No, I'm sorry, Alessandro Tomelo, right? My DOC, who's in Italy, holding it down. When I say he's my DOC and my capologist, he crunches numbers, like he throws at me spreadsheets. I'm like, Alice, this looks like Latin to me. Get out of my face. I trust you. You got this, right? So between Alice, between Doyle, between Ryan, holding down the front office with Adrian Blaine, our social media. Adrian Blaine's our graphic artist. Stephen Black is our social media guy. You know what I'm saying? They got that down, and Art got coaching. I'm chilling talking to y'all. Like that. But there was a time I couldn't, and it wasn't for lack of trying. It was just I had no groundwork. People were like, we don't know you. We don't want to work with you because that's what, bro. My inaugural season, we had 12 players total. 4 of my players weren't real because nobody wanted to come to play for us. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It might sound pretentious, but I have not changed much from season 8 to now. It's just people are more trustworthy of the brand because they know the brand represents
Success.
Elite. Like, bro, you come here, we're gonna compete. I can't guarantee we're gonna win all the championships because Baltimore's trying to hog them up, right? I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee you're gonna compete. There will not be a game unless we play Mexico City. There will not be a game where we look like we don't know what we're doing. Right? Yeah, bro. They dropped 55 on us.
Yeah,
55.
That's one where you just like.
But yeah, burn the tape. Like there's no scouting to be done there. Just burn the tape and just move.
Burn the tape.
But that we can guarantee that we're gonna be competitive in all the games we're in. We're gonna have a ridiculously funny, engaging locker room. Thanks to Doyle and Bullet and the rest of the crazies over there. Our VCs are wild because we have at least 7, 8, 9 people just screaming their heads off while the game is going. And we're a gigantic family. Everyone loves everybody. Like
culture.
There's zero drama in our locker room. The only drama that in the locker room is when Doyle posts one of his stories about the drama of the field. Man, you won't believe what these Cougars are doing to me, man. Like, Doyle, what are you doing? Leave
what are you
alone,
doing?
Doyle. Right? But that's
right.
That's it. But that's it.
That's him.
So it's not, and that's where I was saying that it's great for y'all that you have a team, right? Your front office is a gigantic team because you get to lean on people. If like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get busy, Axel got your back. Right. If in the off season you got to reach out to certain people, you know what I'm saying? Jason could close the deal for you, right? It's great. When I started, I had none of that. I was GM, owner, head coach, scout, social media, like, bruh, like, so at the end of season 12, your boy, when I say burnt, I was toast. I can't.
Them long runs, man. Them long runs.
Bro, like, okay. Because now season 13 happens where we lost to Seattle on that last play of the game because I put one defensive play I have not used since. Okay. So season 14 happens and we don't even make the playoffs. And I'm like, bro, this offseason is so long. What is this?
I'm not used to this.
Bro, because that was our first and only time ever missing the playoffs. The playoffs last a month. And I'm like, bro, what am I? I don't know what to do. There's nothing to scout. You know what I'm saying? I can't prep. Right. And I'm not the type to talk to other teams, free agents while season's ongoing. So I can't talk to free agents. So Optimus, what do we do? Like, I don't know, coach. I don't know what we do. It's just so
twiddling your thumbs, brother.
It was foreign to me. Right. But yeah,
it woke that fire back up.
So if you're asking me, what would I do differently, or what would I tell young? I couldn't tell you. There would be nothing. It's just the mindset was right. The mindset was come in, be different, and win. And that's what I would. At this point in time, it'd be a little different, right? Because if I were to come in now, it'd be difficult to be different than everybody else because of the number of stars that teams have. Back then, 12 stars, certain teams had 3 receivers, certain teams had 1, certain teams had run back. So you could kind of change your roster build and be different that way. But now because every team is loaded, it's a little more different. But yeah, it's basically do what you gotta do to win. That's the mindset, and that's what I was doing then, and hopefully we'll continue doing that now. Do what you gotta do to win. If you could be different, try.
Do it.
Yes, because then you stand out, right? Like
that's what's happening with the 2 running back thing now, and
you know what I'm saying. So not just that, the Axel, you came from a squad that was different. Now, mind you, the success wasn't there because all facets of the game weren't firing at the same time all the time. But bro, if you talking about passing offenses, San Diego was explosive.
Yeah.
Like they could throw that rock with the best of them, right? Vancouver, same deal. Explosive. They could throw that rock with the best of them. It's just having all the facets fire at the same time, right? So that, I guess that's one way you could try to be different in doing that. But besides that, is just do what you gotta do to be competitive. So y'all got anything else? You got anything else for your boy?
Nope. I think I'm good.
Axel?
I have one question.
What you got?
To hear from you as a coach. What is the one play, and this could be either offense or defense or both, that you have the most tumultuous love-hate relationship with? Is there one that you gotta be like, I hate to love this one, or I love to hate this one? I don't know.
I don't have a love-hate relationship with plays. It's either I love the play or I hate the play. Period. There's no, because when I practice and or sim, I'm big on, again, execution, right? So if I see a play that my quarterback, that Ron, cannot execute properly, I don't waste my time on it, because time is finite. Hours are being burnt. I can't waste time on a play that don't work.
Yeah.
Right. So if it works 9 out of 10 times, that 10th time better just be an incompletion. Because if it's a turnover, I ain't got time for it. I don't care. And conversely, if the play works 1 out of 10 times and 1 time is a touchdown, I don't care if it's a touchdown. I'm not using it. So that's why there's no love-hate. It's either I like the play or the play doesn't exist to me. Cool. And I'm like, so which is funny, because I know some teams that use plays that I would never use, and they get it to work. I'm like, that's dating. So I'm like, you know what? Let me amuse myself. I throw it in the practice and it's an interception, and I throw it right back out. There you go. That's it. There's no love-hate. It's just let me try. I don't like it. Let's throw it away.
Kind of by the numbers, evidence, the data doesn't lie.
That's it. Numbers never lie. Numbers never lie. Never lie.
Cool.
So
absolutely.
So, gentlemen, if that is all, this was a nice one. This was a good one, highly engaging. I hope the people that get to partake in this enjoy seeing Axel, away from his fights and insights, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's good stuff there. So for BJ Loveless and Axel Raven, co-owners of your Minnesota Legends, I'm Max Paul. See y'all